What's up YouTube, Demi here with a build guide for my Aurabot, the TheBitterLemon, also known as a Necromancer thing that has way too many auras equipped. So we're going to go over how to make this character and a remembrance of why I actually made this character in the first place. So when I first got partnered about a year and a half ago, my first subscriber was the Bitter Earth, which is one of my mods. He's one of my mods. And we decided that the prize for that would be to get a character or a build named after him, right? So it ended up being this Aurabot, which I've spent a lot of time and a lot of currency and a lot of effort min-maxing just so that we can have it to be basically entirely perfect at this point and be able to equip literally everything on life because we are blood magic, and then have the skills that we do use cost 0 mana, so there's really nothing to worry about. You just kind of equip everything. So there you go. There's I believe it's, let's see, let me count, 1 2 3 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 auras. And then we have 3 curses on Blasphemy as well, which they're all active. It's kind of dumb. This Aurabot is very dumb. Mana cost 0 on Flame Dash, 0 on Shield Charge, then I have my Vol Haste for spamming. But yeah, it's pretty good. So, we're Necromancer. Why are we Necromancer? Because we get this. Commander of Darkness. Auras you cast grant 3% attack and cast speed to you and allies, and then you and allies deal 30% increased damage while affected by auras and get 20% all res. This is basically the only reason we go Necromancer. And then we also take Mistress of Sacrifice, which gives us some skill effect duration so that our Vol Haste lasts longer. And then these nodes are more or less useless. So you basically only need to do normal and Cruel Lab. After that, it's pointless. You get a little bit of cast speed, I guess, but we don't have any minions, we don't have any anything else, right? So it's just those 2 nodes. As for the skill tree, you more or less just take a bunch of energy shield stuff. We'll go through it. Energy shield, flask effect to make our flask more powerful defensively. Bunch of jewel sockets. We take faster start of energy shield recharge from Essence Surge here because we don't have a way to leech, we don't have a way to do anything other than just not get hit. So after X seconds our shield starts recharging, and that's very, very good. We take all of the aura nodes on the tree, literally the entire tree worth of aura nodes. Some ES nodes here, more aura nodes down here, some attack and cast speed, and then we'll go all the way over here to charisma for even more aura nodes. Grab some skill effect duration, again just for our Vol Haste so it lasts longer. I believe it lasts 7.5 seconds, yeah, so it's good. So basically up all the time. Go way up here for the extra curse effect, some more ES, all of the aura and aura reservation nodes over here, sovereignty. Then we go for some ES, some increased effective auras down here. And then we stretch way the hell out here for blood magic so that we don't have to worry about mana reservation anymore, because blood magic gives you this OP 50% less mana reservation node right here. That's just stupid. So we take that. And then we head even further down to duelist section for the aura nodes all the way down here. So more or less have all the aura effect that you can possibly get, which is just dumb. And as for jewels, the rare jewels, I go for faster start of ES recharge and energy shield primarily, and then some attack and cast speed so I can shield charge faster to keep up with your carries. Your carries are going to run and attack really, really fast, so it's actually really important to get on jewels. This is an engine from within. It converts these nodes from just being life ES to pure ES, which is very helpful. And then this jewel, it's another energy shield, faster start recharge thing, same as the other one. Conqueror's Potency, this is for the increased effect of curses and flasks and auras. Very, very good. This is about an alchemy orb, pretty useful to get. I have a Watcher's Eye for faster start of ES recharge and minus mana cost while affected by clarity. We are using both of those. Where are they? I don't know. They're on this list somewhere, right? And that gives me really, really fast ES recharge starts along with my minus mana cost, so I no longer have to use Elrayon jewelry or minus mana cost jewels. Conqueror's Efficiency gives you minus reservation and skill effect duration. Great. This jewel, same thing, faster start of ES recharge, ES stack and cast speed. You're noticing a trend with those. This one was a bit weird because I had no dex to be able to use all of my auras. I believe we need like 150 something dex for a level 21 haste and grace and whatnot. So I just put one of these in here. These are cheap as hell. It just converts all of the strength of the dex for me. So that's just good, right? But yeah, that's all the jewels. As for the gear, it's there's a lot of like good uniques, right? So we'll start with required uniques. You need to have an Alpha's Howl. This gives you your auras in your helmet to be really cheap. It gives you reduced reservation. It gives you cannot be frozen. So I put my purities in here. We'll go over all the gem links afterwards though. So this is where I put my purities though. My shield, I put a bunch of 50% auras, 50% reservation auras, because it gives minus 25% mana reservation. It also gives you a bunch of auras, a bunch of plus levels, a bunch of decks. It's an important shield. These are very cheap, both of these items. And then the chess piece, Victario's Influence. This is also incredibly cheap, but it gives +1 aura gems, level 30 generosity, so this is where you put your damage auras, so that your friends with you, your party mates, get that ridiculously high OP level generosity. And generosity gives increased aura effect to people that are affected by it, right? So it's really powerful for things like with haste and wrath and hatred and anger, all of those I put in my chest. So this actually needs to be a minimum of a 4 link, maximum of a 5 link. You don't need this 6 link. It doesn't actually do anything. I had an Enlighten in there until I checked Path of Building, and it doesn't actually help me at all. So other items that you can get if you want to use more curses on life, you can put them on Blasphemy with a Skyforce. Skyforce gives you reduced mana reservation, which is pretty useful. Everything else on it is useless, so if you don't have the ability to get Skyforce, just use Rare Boots. And then weapon-wise, you can get a United in Dream. It gives you the level 15 Envy skill, which is a Chaos damage aura. Gives you a little bit of extra Chaos damage with attacks and spells. Definitely not required at all. So if you don't want to worry about this, just drop this and use a Bright Beak instead, so you can go faster. And then the Amulet, Presence of Chayula, you don't need this. It gives you a bunch of extra energy shield and chaos res, but you can also just use a regular Eye of Chayula, +1 curse if possible. Or you can just use a rare Elder Amulet with the Envy aura on it, and +1 curse there would be great as well. So the other slots, your rings, your gloves, your belt, those are just rares. Rings you're going to want to go for as much intelligence and ES as you can get. If you need dex here or strength here, grab it and get plus gems if possible for your clarity. You don't need that, but it's just kind of a bonus. The other one, same thing, just get ES and then stats if you need them. If you can get a little bit of extra damage to attacks for your L Equilibrium if you want to take that. If your friend that you run with all the time is pure fire damage, I have cold damage on a ring, so I could potentially use L Equilibrium to give enemies minus 50% fire res, but I don't run with anybody in particular, so I just kind of don't have that right now. Gloves, as much ES as possible, in chaos res, attack speed, whatever else you need. You could use insanity gloves here if you wanted to go faster. It's kind of up to you. As for the belt, go for as much ES as possible. If you can get a shaped belt with ES recovery rate, great. That'll allow you to regen back to full faster, or recharge back to full faster rather, right? And then the Abyss Jewel, I just went for ES. Life regen does nothing because I'm wearing Skyforce. But yeah, gem links. So, your helm setup in the Alpha's Howl. We have Purity of Fire, Purity of Ice, Purity of Lightning. They get +2 from this, so if you get level 23 from here, and that is a breakpoint to get that additional max res. Then I have them linked to Enlightened level 4. In the shield, I have Grace, Determination, and Discipline. These all get +3 levels of auras, which is pretty gross, so they're all level 24, and they get that minus 25% mana reservation, which is great. In the chest piece, which gives negative 30% reservation, I have Haste, Wrath, Anger, and Hatred. All of those huge 50% reservation auras that give a lot of damage, they're all here. The Haste is a Vol Haste, so I can use Haste and Vol Haste. I need level 21 Vol Haste from League still, but that'll come when this league ends. And then I have those linked to a level 4 in Power, which gets +1 from my Corruption. So level 5 in Power, all of these are level 26 DPS auras, or 27 on the level 21s, which is just kind of stupid. A random Flame Dash in my unset ring to get up and down ledges. My other unset ring, which has plus levels, I have a Clarity. This actually needs to be here. I was going to put it in my chest, but my Watcher's Eyes, I have to be affected by the Clarity as well, so if it's on Generosity from this, I don't get that minus 10 mana cost, which means my skills cost mana, and that's a problem. So it's here. In your sword, the sword gives you the Envy skill, so you can support that Envy skill with links in the sword. So I have Generosity here, linked to Envy, which means that it's more powerful and has more AoE for my allies. And then I have my shield charge faster attack setup, pretty basic right there. And then in the gloves and the boots, depending on which one you can get +1 gems on, I happen to have a +1 gem Skyforce. I have my more powerful defensive curses here, so I have Temporal Chains and Enfeeble, so they're level 22. And then I have a level 5 Enlighten and a level 21 and 23 Blasphemy. So these are incredibly powerful. The curses you can swap out to whatever you want. So if you wanted to run for higher DPS, I have LE weakness, temp chains, and feeble right now, but I could run projectile weakness, elemental weakness, flammability, for example, if somebody was playing a fire projectile skill, and triple their damage through that. It'd be kind of gross. But I don't want to do that, I want to stay alive. So I have temp chains, enfeeble on blasphemy with enlighten, and then in my gloves I have blasphemy, elemental weakness, and purity of elements randomly, and then a portal gem to get in and out of maps. So it's kind of hard to showcase this character with another person, so if you guys want to compare your DPS or whatever, it's kind of gross. We can go over the flasks as well, I should probably do that. So defensively, as you can see, without flasks I'm at 84, 84, 85% max res, which is dumb, but I'm using a topaz, a ruby, and a sapphire flask, so when I use those, I go up to 92, 92, 93% res, and if I use my rubies, I go to 75%, 26% block. That's ridiculous defensively. Combine that with the fact that I have enfeebled temp chains with a ridiculous amount of curse effect on blasphemy, I don't get hit, ever. If I get hit, it means my carry is not in the map or I'm AFK. I should talk about this flask in particular. Coruscating elixir is incredibly important. As you can see, we're not wearing shavs, so the only way to not die to chaos damage is to have this flask up all the time. It does last, oh god, how long does this last? 10 seconds or so? So it's not like you need to use it all the time. If you're struggling to keep it up, I would just drop the roomies and carry 2 of these, so you can alternate them. So you'll have 40 seconds of this uptime, and that's more than enough to clear maps with. If you're running with a good carry, you should be able to finish the entire map in about 1 to 2 minutes max. And then for boss fighting, I mean, you can just drop more flasks and carry these. But I do have a bleed flask, I have a movement speed quicksilver, and then I have taste of hate for the fizz mitigation, max cold res. Again, you can just use a sapphire flask if you don't have a taste. Ruby's concoction for the block chance. If you don't have a Ruby's concoction, just grab another Coruscating elixir, they're cheap as hell. This is required though, you need this flask. Is there anything else I need to talk about this character? No, this is the result of a ridiculous amount of min-maxing on my part over the years. Culling Strike United and Dream, +1 Gem Skyforce, +1 6 Link Victorios, +1 Curse Eye of Chayula, or Presence of Chayula, sorry. Oh yeah, enchants. You will want a reduced reservation enchant on your Alpha Towel, preferably for one of the 50% auras, so go for Haste, Wrath, Hatred, or Anger, -15%. I think you can get it on a Grace, Determination, or Discipline as well. The only aura that I am not running right now is Vitality, because I don't need it personally. I'm not sure. I could do some math and see if you can fit it in your chest links. You might be able to. I don't know how much life I have after this. I have 28 life left. Yeah, I probably cannot do that. But yeah, there's the character. I hope you guys enjoyed the guide. If you have any questions or whatever, there's a forum guide linked in the description below this video with all the pace spins and whatnot and all the required stats and all that other stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you make the Aurabot, let me know how it goes. You can make it with a very low budget and scale it up into a ridiculous endgame. So this character is just stupid. It like quadruples to ×8s people's DPS depending on what their build is. If you're playing with an elemental character, the scaling gets to be a ridiculous amount. So, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you in the next video, and that'll be me out.